Welcome to another edition of Adobe Express, Adobe Live, featuring Adobe Express for Education. My name is Jesse Lubinsky. I am Principal Evangelist on the Education team. And today I am joined by two very special guests. First, I'd love to introduce an educator who has inspired so many teachers and students. And we'll begin with Jeffrey Heil in just a minute. In the meantime, Donnie Piercey is here as well. So actually, these two gentlemen, Donnie and Jeff, are co-hosts with me for a podcast called Partial Credit. Mm-hmm. And it's a podcast that talks a little bit about education, but in a fun way that integrates pop culture, shenanigans. Don't make fun of my hand waving. And we're going to do a special edition of Adobe Live because we are here on site at the Adobe offices in San Francisco for a very special event. We are here for the Adobe Creative Educator Innovator Summit.
And we're very excited.
Very excited. So we are joined by around 80 of our colleagues here at the campus, where we are learning all about the great ways that educators are using Adobe Express in education. And what we wanted to do was we wanted to bring some of what they are here and their excitement into the episode today with a little partial credit spin.
Absolutely.
So what we are going to be doing is we have asked all of our Adobe Creative Educator innovators to share with us their favorite secret, Adobe Express secret, that all teachers should know. And so we took that list, and in true partial credit style, one of our favorite things to do is to draft anything. We'll pick a school out of Saturday Night Live characters, pick all types of things. So what we're gonna do is Jeff and Donnie drafted their favorite tips from our innovators. So we'll be sharing all of these
creative tips.
Right, from innovators. So,
creative tips, secret ideas.
Just everything really that if you've never played around with Adobe, if you've never played around with Adobe Express before, we kind of asked this group of educators like, what things should people know about it? And we randomly picked 10 things, not randomly, kind of went through, and from those 10 things, we decided to, semi-randomly, sure, and decided to draft a team.
In true partial credit style, at the end, you will have an opportunity to vote for who drafted the best set of Adobe Express secrets. So up first is Donald Piercey, the 2021 Kentucky Teacher of the Year. He has to throw that in.
Yes.
He also went to Antarctica once.
I did.
And at that time, we were the #1 rated education podcast in Antarctica.
Yes. Sure, that works.
So, Donnie, what you're going to be doing is we're going to give you a few minutes to go through each of your 5 tech tips. Mm-hmm. I haven't looked at this yet, but each of these was shared by a different innovator.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. So
first, we will credit each innovator.
We are crediting each innovator.
Then we will share our spin on what their suggestion was.
Okay.
And hopefully you all out there will learn something new and or add to your existing knowledge. And just a quick aside, if you're not clear how to really understand the Partial Credit podcast, think about Seinfeld. It's sort of a podcast about nothing. We focus on education, pop culture, and shenanigans. So hopefully we'll bring that energy to today's show.
Now, Donnie, this is unusual for you to be first up, so I hope you're okay with that.
Throwing all the
he
bars
likes
at
to
the
go
start.
last.
Because he did
true.
actually offer me the choice to go first or second, and we knew he really wanted to go last.
Which
I'm
is why
fine going first.
We were not fine with it. But anyway, so your first tech tip.
Yep. So my first one comes from Miss Jessica Adams. We sent it out. We said, what tech tip do you want? And my first pick in my Adobe Express, secrets would be, she said that she loves that you can drag and drop a PDF all into the one editor, which kind of makes it editable. And then bonus, once it's in there, you can actually use the translate feature to translate it to whatever language you want. And so I'm actually going to switch over to this computer here.
Was this actually your first pick overall?
This was my #1 pick.
This would actually be really high
honestly,
for me because educators love that translation feature.
Yeah.
And to be able to share it out as a link or download it as a PDF. So very excited to see you demo this.
Editing PDFs is probably one of the least known ideas for people using
within Adobe Express. We talk about creativity all the time, but we don't always talk about that productivity aspect of all the administrative the teachers have to do.
I was a little jealous he took this one.
So to give you a classic example, right, we get stuff like this all the time. Like maybe you have like the PTA, they'll send you a copy of, like an upcoming thing, or you'll receive something from your district, and for some reason it's in a non-editable, I almost said edible, format where it's a PDF, and you're like, I really want to be able.
I'm a fan of an editable.
That's true. Yeah. But what you can do, if you have that PDF, right, and I've just got a couple of sample ones here. These are not real. I'm on Jeff's computer
These
here.
are not real PDFs.
They are real PDFs. These are not real ones that I've made. I kind of made these as examples.
Oh, okay.
So what I'm going to do is let's pretend, right, that you got an email from your district, and the email that you got said like, hey, we want you to print this out, and we want to have and make sure that the students in the school like know what's coming up. And this is just a pretend, newsletter from the school, right?
Amazingly named after your daughter.
Amazingly named after my oldest daughter who just turned 14 a few days ago. But anyway, so if you send this, you're like, well, I've got 5 languages in my classroom this year, and 4 of them are not English, and I really want to be able to have them understand what's going on, and you don't want to email the person and kind of get on their nerves. So what you can do is you can take that PDF, you can literally drag it into Adobe Express and drop it, and then this little window is going to pop up that says Import PDF. You click Import, and then what it's going to do is going to look at the file, and it's going to not convert it to a Google Doc, but it's going to convert it to an Adobe Express file. And this whole process takes about a minute. It's already done.
Less than a minute.
And now I'm going to press Open. And now that PDF, which a lot of times when you think of those, like, oh, I can't edit it, I can't do whatever. Now it's its own separate file that I can go in and I can make changes to it. But
Now,
remember,
I was just about
the
to say.
changes I'm showing are, I want to translate this where every student in my class can understand it. So up here at the top, there's this little magic button that says Translate. So I'm going to click that. And then here on the left, it's like, well, what languages do you want to translate this to? Well, I don't know. Let's translate it to, you can search for languages. We'll do Spanish. Maybe you've got French. Maybe you've got German and, I don't know. Let's
Haitian
do
Creole.
Hindi. And
Hindi's
Italian,
fairly
right?
new, I think.
Okay.
But
Now, you
after
do
the
have
last
to be careful. You don't want it to translate every page, right? In this case, we just want it to translate the one page that I'm on. So we're going to click that, and then jump down here and click Translate. And then what it does, it's going to make a new file for me. And then in that new file will be all the translations where I can just go press Print, and it's got it all in there, and it's good to go.
Jeff, I have to tell you, this is a solid #1 pick.
Yeah,
So
it's my number one
a-
overall draft pick.
Because not only can he now
Yeah, they
take
are.
that PDF and have all those individual pages that he could download as individual PDFs, he can also publish it and share it as one link.
No, I know.
Yeah.
So it's
I know.
this would have been
I'm
this
aware.
would have been a top draft. pick.
It's a magic pick. There's a
So,
reason why I went with number
Out of
one.
curiosity, was this a snake draft or?
Yeah,
So meaning because Donnie had the first pick, Jeff later got 2
Are
and
you
3.
poking
so
fun at the fact that I'm a Slytherin? Is that why you decided to call it
it's
a snake
also-
draft?
the fact that
Yeah,
you
yeah.
admitted that on an Adobe Live is actually
Oh,
kind
it's
of
fine.
incredible.
It's fine. I'm here for it.
Okay,
But,
so that was your first pick.
yeah, that was my first pick. So let's
We're going to
switch
go through
over
all
to the
5
other
of
computer
Donnie's.
now.
So I'm going to now show our slide for the second pick. So our second pick, Donnie's pick 2. Ooh, this is a good one too.
So second pick that I got going on here. Oh, where did it go? Lost it there for a second. We'll switch over to the other computer now. Right.
Yep, here we go. So Donnie's pick number 2, Lock and Replace by Sarah Cubberly.
Again, I'm an elementary school teacher. Next year is my 20th year of teaching. And again, I love Adobe Express, but sometimes if you have students who are 8 or 9 and they've never actually played around with Adobe Express before, let me click on this. If they've never actually played around with Adobe Express before, they might not know if you pass a template out to a student, they might go and like completely mess around with it. Maybe they're clicking on the wrong things, and you just need them to change one thing about it. So Sarah Cubberly, she ended up going ahead and submitting this, and so I'm going to kind of demo how this works. I'm going to switch back to this other computer here, press the magic button and go. And so in this is a little assignment that I actually did with my class last year. Elementary
I love
school,
this one, actually.
right? Elementary school, we do
too.
idioms, which they all think I'm
He's
saying
not
idiots.
just a pretty face. He
He's
actually.
not.
That's right.
sometimes
I'm
can come up with some
also
good
a
templates.
client,
That's
right? But the idea behind it
Wrong one.
is the students will, you give them an idiom, and then they have to use the generative AI feature to actually show that idiom in real life.
I love that, by the
And a lot of times, if you didn't use the lock and replace thing, students might go and just delete it, and then they're like, "What the heck am I supposed to do?"
So-
right?
Did
But-
Jeff guess that this one was Raining Cats and Dogs?
No, he did not. But what you can do, right, if you right-click on it, one of the you've got 2 features down here now, or 2 buttons you can click. One says lock, and the other one says lock and allow replace. And so if I click on, we'll just do the lock one here to start. And now the student cannot make changes to this until they click the little unlock image up the top. But again, I teach elementary school, right? So I want them to be able to replace the image. So then you'll see the little replace button. I can click that. I can upload an image. I could, even if I wanted to, jump over here to the generate image. And if I wanted them to use another idiom, I could change it and it would create that image for me.
I love that.
Yeah.
So I wasn't a huge fan at first, like seeing it on screen, but now when Donnie went through it, I'm like, ooh, that's a good one.
Well, the lock and replace too, if you're creating a template for kids to push out, that is just a brilliant feature to add in there.
But also, we know there are components when you're giving students a template. There are components that you don't want them to change,
Oh, 100%.
like potentially, legends or assets or things that you want to stay in place.
Yeah.
So this is a really great way to share that out and keep that stuff there.
Well, again, with elementary school kids, 8, 9, 10-year-old kids, it's not, they might not always, what they create, you want to be modeling for them what an exemplar design piece looks like, right? And so you want to make sure that a font size or a font might be what they want, a font size might be what you're asking them to do. But again, the basic assignment is there, but then it's up to them how they can use lock and replace to kind of tweak it and make it better. All right, ready to move on to my third pick.
Love
Back
it. All
together.
right, so we've done
Other
PDFs, we've done lock and replace. Pick number 3, animated exit tickets.
So this was an idea that Jamie Shields threw out.
I feel
Fantastic
like this is
educator.
combining a couple of things.
Yeah. So
okay,
fantastic idea thrown out by Jamie Shields. And if you've never seen it before, inside of Adobe Express, you can actually animate from your voice, right? Animate. You can create an animated character from your voice. And what she was doing with her students that I thought was really, really cool is at the end of a lesson, after maybe she taught a lesson on theme, after she did a lot of times math teachers are struggling, like, well, I don't, how does this fit in the whole idea of design? And so she was having her students go ahead and instead of like always doing like the sticky notes or the little, ticket out the door, she would have her students for the last 5 minutes of class hop into Adobe Express and then use the Animate from Audio feature to create a quick little video where they could demonstrate their knowledge. She'd put a question up on the board and do it that way.
And that's probably the number one use of Animate from Audio is as a vehicle for reflection. And I think, when it first came out, I've always said, like, I thought it was really cute. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. But it's become such a powerful way for students to be able to share their voice with their work.
100%.
And in a way that doesn't feel intimidating.
Right.
Because there are many kids that love to talk, but they don't want to see their faces. So
And for
the ability to use a character is huge for a lot of my students.
It cannot be understated, the value of having that ability to filter out the rest of the audio as you are recording, right?
Absolutely.
To make sure, like when you're recording animations in a classroom with 30 students doing it all at once, right? That's intimidating. Most teachers don't want to do it because of the challenges of recording. But here, it's just one simple checkbox, which Donnie's going to show us.
The reason was my third pick. So we'll switch back over to my computer here. And then on here, I forgot to press the magic pretend button. There it goes.
That's good.
So when you're inside of Adobe Express, you didn't know I had that magic button right there. Look at that.
It was there the whole time.
It's right,
Wait,
the big
don't
red
hit it
one.
again, it'll switch back.
I know, sorry, I'll make sure I leave it alone. But again, look at that, it switched back. So let me press it one more time. But inside, cameraman having fun.
Don't
this is
accidentally
great.
press the button.
I'll try not. This
Okay.
is like Lost again, 4, 8, 15,
That's right.
throw the numbers up there. But again, there's different ways you can get to it. What I like, right, inside of Adobe Express now, you're going to start to see, right, underneath Media, you'll see a little button over there that says Animate Characters, right? So if I click that, it'll pop up like this. Again, maybe if you're familiar with it, you see Ziggy Stardust there on the screen. But on the right, you'll see lots of different characters. And the idea is you kind of click the one that you want. You can search creatures, filter what you go with. I'll go with this one right here. Looks like me. But the idea is you'd throw out to the students, you'd put up on the board the exit ticket. Like, what's the thing that you want them to explain to you?
I didn't realize they had Red Sox fans as an actual animated character.
Oh,
here in
really?
the-
Okay.
Anyway,
Wow, that's brutal.
One question we often get though is
How
do
do
I
the
make my
Yankees
own,
blow the 2004
I don't wanna talk about
ALCS?
that.
Is that what we're talking about? Okay.
How can I make my own animated character, or how can I use something that already exists? And Donnie has that animate characters drop down under category, and right now we're just seeing creatures.
Yeah.
But you can drop down and pick from any category, and one of our favorites is mouth only, which are just mouths. So if you theoretically wanted to animate a historical figure or something, you could literally just take a photograph and put that mouth.
Yeah, put the
over,
image on top
and the
of
mouth will
Jonathan
become the
Edwards.
animation.
Well, and that
Do all
allows you
this.
to multi. So if you wanted to create the character you wanted didn't exist here, and you wanted to create some sort of character that you use text to image for, you could bring that character into the background, and then you could put the lips over the voice. So you may not have the full character animated, but they will feel like they have a little bit of control over what creature they created, and then just throwing the mouth on top. When you first see just the mouths, if they come up, it's still a little creepy, I'm not gonna lie. But once you realize that it's going on a face, and then when you see it move and the lips move, it's actually amazing.
Lips manless, we'll call them.
That's funny. So you'll notice right down below the record button is that enhanced speech
that's what I was getting
toggle that we were talking about, where if you had that turned on, it will filter out all background noise. So you can have every student in the classroom recording at the same time, and each one will get the same high quality audio just based on what they were saying in front of their microphone.
Well, especially too, like, as someone who's taught for 20 years, and I've been using Chromebooks in my classroom for the last 12, if you've ever tried to have 27 students in your class record a piece of audio all at the same time, tons of background noise, right? And the students a lot of times would get frustrated because they'd be like, well, when you played it back, you can't hear it.
Right.
Or they hear their peers, or
like so-and-so farted. But underneath, if you click that enhanced speech, like it's magic. It makes those 6 or 7. Maybe I was talking about it in the studio. But with that enhanced speech button, it makes those Chromebooks, which sometimes they, like in my classroom, you have devices that are 6, 7 years old, right at their end of life. It makes it sound like they were recording it with a professional mic, and it really is one of those magic buttons. But again, so. Students go in. The students go in, and they would. I lost my thing here. Where'd I go?
Number 2.
The students would go in and they would record. And again, I've just got a little sample here. And in this, I pretended the teacher put on the board, like we were learning about, how to do long division. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, all that. And the teacher just wanted to know, hey, do you remember those steps? Right. So I hit the record button. I pretended I was a student, right? Because I teach under 13, so a lot of them, didn't want to get permission or anything like that. So again, once it's recorded, the whole process takes a couple of minutes. Then they just press play.
Hey guys, today
and then
in math
the
class,
sound comes through, and then as a teacher, I can hop into the gallery. I know Jeff might share about that later, but then I can go and see all of these, right, and play them all back.
And the kids can see
and
each
hear them
other's.
together. Yeah, they can see each other's too, and they can give feedback, etc.
One of my favorite uses of this also is you'll notice there's the background that you could select from the background option, but you could also, you might have noticed it was transparent.
Yeah.
You could have that transparent background and add whatever image you want. So whether you want to create something using AI, or I actually like when students take a picture of their work and put it as a background.
Yeah. Here's me talking on top of it, right?
Right.
I mean, don't sleep on the remove background button in video.
Jeff, I'm just saying, there's a strong. We're starting off. Donnie's starting off strong.
Draft grade.
As much as it pains me to say it, these are pretty good.
I mean, this is like when the Patriots took Brady.
Just be clear, I have not gone yet.
The case against Jeff is built in
I
strong
know.
already.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to my fourth pick. Let's move on to my
your
fourth pick
fourth option, magic button.
Sorry.
Boom. Okay. Our fourth option.
Hang on. Trying here. There it goes. Okay.
Is going to be AI generative templates from Stephanie.
Yeah, so Stephanie Girotato, she came up with a great idea. And she's talked about how a lot of times as a classroom teacher, like maybe you're doing a unit and you looked at the district templates, or the maybe you've got an old curriculum that works, but the just the digital side of it, the engaging piece just isn't there. And so what she would do, and what she does rather, because she's still an active teacher, is she talks about how she uses the AI Powder poster maker kind of within Adobe Express, the generative AI, to create just a quick little poster or something to engage the students for the lesson. Hey, here's what we're doing, it's coming up soon. And the whole process takes a couple of seconds. And I've actually got a couple of uses, like how I've used this with my students, how my students use this past year. But it really is, it's another one of those magic tools that once you see how it works and how easy it is to go ahead and create, it is a magic tool that will save teachers a lot of time, right? Especially if you're trying to show them, kind of the ins and outs of how, like Adobe Express can save them time, but also, let the students still be creative. So I'm going to press the magic button here to kind of showcase this in action. Maybe it's got the clapper.
All
okay,
right.
There you go. So how it would work, right? I'll give a simple example here. You'd grab a prompt, right? And then when you jump over to where it says like generative AI, a lot of times, you'll see like you can generate image, you can create text effects, which are super fun. But don't sleep on the template feature that's there, right? And a lot of times in here, you'll see some templates to play around with, but there's a generate template button. This is the reason why this was my fourth pick, right? Sleeper pick. But what you do, right, is you choose like what you want, and in this case, we'll stick with a poster. And then inside of this, you type what you want the poster to look like, right? What you want. And you can throw in some things, you can give it some modern design, etc. You can even upload an image, like a reference image,
which
that it could use, which is
underrated
magic.
technique.
Oh, very
Right,
underrated.
100%. It's like the...
Did you do market research for this pizza place name?
No.
So it's
Raven's
named,
Bites?
it's named out, it's my wife's name, so Dr. Piercey.
Dr. Raven
Shout
Piercey,
out, right,
yeah.
yes, thank you for pointing that out. What you do is
Is she
you
a
click...
doctor of mozzarella?
A doctor of psychology, actually. She's the smart one. But anyway, so you press create. And again, a lot of times when you think about this generative AI stuff, like you think like, oh, this might take 5 or 10 minutes. Again, this whole process takes 30 seconds to a minute to do.
Well, and can I add real quick, Donnie? One of the things that I love about this is, for teachers, is that if you have this idea of a project, but it's the first time that you're doing it and you need an exemplar, this is a great way to generate an exemplar that kids can go off of.
Because teachers do not have the time to sit there and craft
Nobody's
that.
got the time to sit
right?
there and do that.
Well,
I mean,
that's
because
true.
you want to do something new, you want to do something creative, but to do that, it requires, you want to use exemplars and these things. So this is a huge, and I agree, Donnie, underrated tool. And when you first see that it's like text to template, in my mind, I thought, what am I going to make mind maps? And it's not. It's more than just like the template that you're thinking about. It's text to poster, text to postcard, text to whatever you want it to be.
And again, like with my students, how we use this past year, just to give another classic example, I told, like, we do an entrepreneur fair each year where the students create their own business, and then using class, like school funds after they make their product, we actually have a big thing in the gym, and they go around and, they buy and sell like the things that they make, yo-yos, face, we had lots of like hand cream and all that. But the idea is, don't ask, it started the slime, went a whole nother level. But the students were really struggling with making posters, right? And so we use the template feature to get a lot of them started, but I told them, like, this can't be your finished product, right? This can't be the finished
It's the
product,
model
right?
of just how to, it's the exemplar, as Jeff
right? It's
talked
the
about.
exemplar. It gets
And
them,
if you use the creative process, it's going to assure you don't get the replica of that first one, which it's just a topic for another day. But one of the things that I love about what we've done in Adobe is really infuse the creative process along with the creative tool to get kids to think differently
100%.
and create things that are amazing.
We've had, Donnie's done his first 4. We're about to do his last one. There was a question in the chat, why no jersey for Jeff? For everyone out there worried about Jeff, he was provided with a jersey and opted not to wear it because he felt it was not slimming enough.
So I know we're voting. I know we're
is-
voting at the end. So this should be minus.
No,
at
but
least
right,
5
he
or
did not
10
follow-
votes.
there are 150 educators here, and I am the only one wearing this shirt.
Why
so
do you
I
have to
felt
stand
like,
out? Why can't
much
you
like
just
Nick
do what
Cage,
we told you to do in the
much
first place?
like Nick Cage and the snakeskin jacket, I wear this shirt because it's an expression of my individuality and my belief in personal freedom.
So if we're going to do that, we can point out that I intentionally wore my green Ashland Elementary School shirt under here so I can vanish.
Shout out to Ashland Elementary.
So I can vanish beneath it. I just thought that was really fun. I've always wanted to do that.
Question from Jax, does this subtract points from Jeff? Yes.
100%.
Okay, magic button us.
All right, sorry. We installed the clapper.
We did the clapper.
too.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
Donnie's
right.
pick number 5.
2 seconds before Donnie moves on. 2 seconds.
This is like interrupting the commissioner.
Is that Donnie created that poster template? In one button, he could have assigned it to his class through Classroom, and they would have all been able to remix the template he just created. So just shout out to Classroom. It's new for a lot of people. So just throw it in.
And speaking of integrations, Donnie, your pick 5 happens to be.
Yeah, so, we did some scouting, went around, found to make our final draft pick here. A lot of people, Bobby Grenier, and I apologize if you're mispronouncing your last name.
Bobby G.
Bobby G.
That's what our
We'll
friends
roll
call
with
her.
that.
That's
Me
what our
and
friends
me
call
and
her,
Bobby
yeah.
G. But she pointed out, like, she's just a really practical tip. She said, like, well, when you're making a new file in Adobe Express, a lot of times teachers will go and they will just, they'll press the plus sign and we'll switch back to mine. Right? There you go.
Wow.
We'll switch back to mine here. And a
Technology.
lot of times you can go here, you'll click the plus sign, it'll load up, and you'll click kind of your starter template. But again, she's like, well, there's a magic button. I love me some magic buttons, because there's actually a button down here that says import from other apps. Now, as a classroom teacher, right? Classroom teacher, like, I went and I found some old slides from a few years ago that when I looked at them, I'm like, oh, they're not really as bedazzled. And one of the things that you can actually connect it to your Google Drive, right? And when you do that, it pops up over here.
I love this.
Yeah, so this is one of those like, oh my gosh, where was that? So when I click on it, hang on, I completely forgot what I named the file. Here you go. Let me, slides, that's what I call it. But if you just search for the file that you're looking for in Drive, it'll pop up. And these are my old welcome slides, but I want to bring it into Adobe Express, where I can bedazzle it a little bit more. So
Christine
I click
would
that.
be proud that you
Thank you. I do what I can. But when I click it, I'm going to import a presentation. Press import. Again, this takes 20, 30 seconds. And then what it does is it takes that slides presentation, again, old one 5, 10 years ago, then I can bring it into Adobe Express and all that magic stuff like generative AI, changing fonts, access to the gallery, all that. Boom, I now have a presentation.
And this is the old mashup, like,
Yeah,
you
so
know,
do you
Smash.
have to install the plugin? Is that something?
So what these are all based on what are called add-ons.
Yeah.
Right. See how there's the add-ons there, and there are a lot of them that are free, like everything though. Like some people make one just have a profit.
But in your district, you may have to work with your
Yeah.
tech folks
Yeah.
to make sure that's
Yep.
enabled.
Yep. But it's all COPPA compliant. It's not like some third party like dude named Google Drive, right? It's just something that's built in there. But it syncs to OneDrive. You can do like a QR code. These are all just simple add-ons that you can use.
So,
But now it's here. I can edit it and do what I want with it.
Donnie, we were a little over. So we're going to return Jeff's point for wardrobe because he has slightly less time to go through his 5. So that'll balance
Well,
out.
he's the one who's been
in the
talking
end.
when it's not his turn.
He's
That's so
adding
unfair.
color commentary. That's okay.
So unfair.
So we've gone through Donnie's 5.
Can we point out what Jessica said in the
switch back.
chat there?
Does
I
Donnie
think
get extra points for his use of the word bedazzle? He does not.
No, absolutely not.
He does not. Okay, so this is Jeffrey Heil, not the 2021 California Teacher of the Year.
Who put that in there?
And I don't know how that stuck in.
I did, as a matter of fact.
You can find him on at jheil65. You can. So that is not his current age, but it is the year he was born.
You round up, it's his age.
There you go. So Jeff, you had picks 2 and 3 overall in this draft.
I did.
So let's see. With your first pick, which was pick 2 number overall,
Yes.
he went with. Oh, this is strong. So we're gonna magic button back really quickly just so we can see. Guided activities.
My favorite.
Super strong.
I couldn't believe it fell to me at number 2.
That was
I'm
what
just
you would have
gonna say
taken
that.
with the 1 pick.
I would have taken that with the 1 pick.
Okay, so tell us, guided activities. Stevie Frank, thank you for contributing that. I agree, they are amazing. They are one of our favorites. Rebecca Hare, who is our director of global content. This is her brainchild. Tell us.
All right, let me hit. This how this button works? Oh,
Yeah,
there we go.
you did it. You
All
did
right,
it.
Hang on, let me
works.
put the
All right.
button back.
You now have
about that.
control. You have control of the button.
All right, so I'm going to go back here, and I am going to show you. Let me go back here. The guided activities that I want to add. If I go into Teach right here from the front home page, I can look at the editable buttons here. I want to go into Educator Resources. Here, I want to focus on this Illustrate a Creative Self-Portrait. So one of the things, if you have not experienced a guided activity before, what I love about these guided activities, gentlemen, is that the subject of the guided activity is usually the student. And this guided activity is a way to introduce a maximum of 3 different features inside of Adobe Express for the kids to be able to learn as they create something interesting. And why I say it's so important that the student starts as the subject is because the student can focus completely on the technology of Adobe Express because they don't have to think about what their favorite food is or what they did over the weekend.
It'll give you the-
it's already
it'll
in
give you
there.
the
So
scaffolding.
it allows them to create without having to worry about the content, and then they're learning the tool.
But I also think it's important to acknowledge that for the teacher who doesn't want to have to feel like they're the person who has to do all of the tech support in the room,
100%.
that scaffolding is built in, whether or not you are the type of person who likes a step-by-step list, or whether you're the type of person who likes like a
100%.
video
100%.
tutorial.
So in this case, if I were to click on the, this is the Illustrate a Creative Self-Portrait. I love this one. This is a great way to start the year. So I could create a AI generated version of myself with using the cutout feature inside of the text, and I can create this self-portrait. So it's a great way to introduce kids to Adobe Express, and maybe to have little posters that we could put around the classroom, or things that they could use in slideshows or whatever it would be. But as you were saying, Jesse, teachers want to feel like they're maximizing their time with the tools. So in my head, when I look at any of these guided activities, I think about how am I going to integrate this into the curriculum? And I look for ways, and there's always a way. So they learn it by being the subject, by being able to generate something amazing, and then I'm going to say to them, and as Donnie and I have like pages up here, we get back here. So here's an example of one that I created of myself. Shut up. So
I have a lot to say about this, but okay.
I got a lot of problems with you people. So I created this.
Your eyes look different on there, Jeff.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no worries.
So green.
So I created this example, and this is, and notice I messed with colors. I had a lot of fun with this. But in the back of my mind, my thought was, hey, we're going to be studying famous people in history. And so how can I leverage the skill that these kids just learned in order to incorporate it into my curriculum? So I followed it up with the same exact project. I could use the same guided activity video, but instead of using myself, I replace it with the historical figure, a character in a novel, a famous scientist. So in this case, the activity that I chose is that you had to do a 10-word biography of a historical figure, and then try to generate an image of that figure. And in this case, I don't have it here to show you because I knew time was going to be a crunch, but I used a reference image of James Baldwin to pull into my text to image. I used a reference image.
And I was going to ask, in your prompt, did you also talk about the style that you wanted?
I did, and
I love that because, again, that takes away from the learning curve of having to be able to know how to do all the editing features. You could simply speak it into existence.
And so notice I added the name. That was like one of the few differences there. And I also, to match the tone of the piece, I went in and used the grayscale to give me that feature there. So I absolutely love the idea of these guided activities to make it easier for the teachers, to ensure that the students are learning. But also for me, is my brain is always spinning to go, okay, remember when we made this thing? Now we're going to use that skill you use. So now it switches. Now my brain does not have to worry about the technology. My brain has to worry about the person that I'm studying.
Well, at the start of the school year, right, because most school districts go back and like we always start on a Wednesday, and the idea is that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, those are the days when you're getting to know your students, all those back to school games and things. And I always try to incorporate as many introductions to tools as I can those first 3 days. So that way, when it's December, I don't have to do that.
One important thing to keep in mind. So, Jeff's talking about the idea of taking these guided activities and remixing them into an idea you could use for your subject area. The cool thing is, if Jeff clicks the little light bulb there, let's say we were to remix this and bring it, it will bring back the step-by-step. So in other words, as long as you're not totally overhauling this,
100%.
It will still be there to provide that scaffolded support, regardless of whether you've changed it or kept the original idea around the guided activity.
And I'm assuming it may change in the future, but I could literally go over here and click share. But because this was a guided activity, they would not get this Baldwin one. They would get the original one. So I would then upload this picture of Baldwin as an artifact inside of Google, as Adobe Classroom. I keep wanting to push Classroom because it's such a cool new feature.
Okay, so that was your first one, and this was strong. Now, Jeff, the one that you picked, before we will look at what it is, the next one that you picked, would you have taken that second? Like, did he take one that you were just like, good, because I wasn't even interested in
strategy?
that?
What do you had going on?
My pre-draft strategy is I love me some Animate character, and Donnie and I would have probably wrestled over that.
Okay.
And so
we did actually. I won.
I'm looking at that. Okay.
When you see my next example, you're going to know why, and you know the example.
This is fantastic. So, I will say, so to give you a little insight into what's been happening here at our ACE Innovator Summit, webpage has been a huge hit. It's something that we were talking about, all of the different ways that people use it. Jeff, tell us a little bit about why this was your number.
Well, because I have used it for projects, and I think it is. I'm going to open it up to show you here, but I think the simplicity of web pages. You only have. it's limiting, but that's liberating to me for kids
Yes.
because then they focus on the
On the
content.
content.
If you give me 50 themes, I'm going to click on 50 themes as if kid. If you give me 35 fonts, I'm going to click on 35 fonts. This one, the font's built into the theme. You have a choice of like 8 themes, and then you only have a choice of 3 layouts. I love that. It's like it's classical music, right? You're being as creative as you can within constraints. And I'm serious. I love.
Do you listen to classical music?
Shut up. I love web page more than peanut butter loves jelly for that reason.
I will
and
say
I
this.
don't want it to change.
I think if you were to survey my team about what their favorite tool is within Adobe Express, most of us would probably say web page.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember the term WYSIWYG.
What you see is what you get.
What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of
100%.
web page.
So let me show you an example as I click the magic button here. This was a project that I did for one of my students. I run an independent study program, so sometimes I can be creative with kids. And I had a young lady that was trying to graduate, and I took a huge project around a U.S. history and a world history that she needed. And so we created this project called The People of World and U.S. History. And in this, they were to research, and this is Mia here that you're looking at here, Mia Montero. She was to research BIPOC, women, famous people in history that aren't normally represented in the history books. So she had to do the research. She had to come up with pieces around them. So I'm just going to quickly scroll through this. And you're going to see here, she added her reflection on this. And I'm going to bring that up again.
I'm debating here whether Donnie gets bonus points for having his feature featured within your feature. So in other words, the Animate audio reflection is
wait,
This is
till you
like
get
mid-draft
right?
trading?
It's like,
Is that what's
no,
going on?
I'm trying to
see,
do draft value in my head.
But just wait on it. That's all I'm going to say. So as you can see, what I love about what you're looking at here, there's 3 different layouts. There is this banner image here, and when Mia did this, what's changed is now we could have generated our own banner image using AI directly inside of web pages. I love that. That was the latest edition that blew my mind. And then the reflective piece, I had her model this for me so that I could use it as an example to give her some extra credit. And so she did multiple partial credit. She did multiple versions of the reflection. One is just a voiceover and one is an Animate character. And the third one that would have been added if it were available was the third one would have been her doing the reflection using the front-facing camera, which didn't exist when she did this. So there would be 3 ways in which she could reflect on the product that she did.
Oh, cool.
As you see, this is just the split layout, and she switched the order of this. So she picks the character, she gives me a quote, an example of what they did, and she had to research their contemporaries and give me a reason how they were connected. And then I want you to see another layout is called Glide Show. So she just highlighted every feature here.
Is probably one of my absolute favorite things.
But you have to use it judiciously.
Yes.
And I want credit for that word. Because I don't want everything to be a glide show, and I don't want 10 images on my glide show. So she puts in Diego Rivera, and then you'll see she then brings up the contemporaries, and then she changes it back to a glide show. So I like that she just so smartly designed this, but she only had 3 choices. So she was able
without
to
getting too deep in, I actually like using Glide Show as like a one blank Glide Show separator from section to section. So there's so many ways.
That is exactly what she did.
It's so simple, but it looks so sleek. And when students turn, and actually I'm going to share this quick story. My daughter actually turned her Common App essay into a Glide Show essay, and then shared that on her college application. Now, I'm not saying that got her into college, but I like to think that Adobe Express was somewhat behind.
Now, should Jeff get credit for this pick since this is none of his work up here?
Well, he was the teacher.
Oh, no.
Were you the teacher?
Mia gets, I was Mia's teacher.
Okay, so he just admitted that she did all the work.
All credit goes to Mia, but she had never made a web page before she did this.
That's cool.
And the ease of Adobe Express to do this, and it just blows me away. And as you can see, I think Express web pages are so easy to use that. And Donnie, you did this years ago. I think we could replace.
So another point for me.
No, for sure. But it's about Google, not Adobe. So I think we could replace the doc with a web page for an essay because we could add imagery to it. And this is such an easy way to turn. This could be just a simple assignment where I could turn it into a one-page web page.
It's shareable, right?
I'll also throw out, just before we switch to his third pick, is as a curation tool for getting students to curate, even with buttons, their work over a unit, a quarter, a semester, the year. When students, research shows that when students reflect back on their work, they're more likely to feel ownership of it. And
100%. There should be a thinking routine after
Right.
After every
Everything.
Decent project that they do. So
Jeff, you're starting strong.
this is the web. Yeah. So this is the second one. Remember, we've done guided activities.
Now, is there
Now
a
we've-
clock on his job?
Well, I'm
He's
watching.
gonna
I'm
run
watching
out of
because he's gonna
time.
run out of time. If he runs out of time, he loses automatically. So we're going to pick 3.
You
We're
lose.
magic
Okay, so
button.
Jeff,
go to
keep
pick
talking,
3. Let me
keep
hit the
talking,
magic
keep
button.
talking.
Amber Hinkle.
Love.
Love you, Amber.
Did Donnie try to steal this? Because I feel
He
like we
did.
talked
Of course
about
he
this.
did. No,
He-
but
he did. He did translating PDFs.
yes, he did.
This is a different. This is actually the reason. I know I got them confused. Start off and I'll explain why.
Now, can I say that Jeff stole this one from me? He
What do you
said,
mean
no,
he
I'll do
stole
that.
it from you?
I said I'm going to do this one.
But
He
there's
said,
a draft order.
this is a long story. There's
It
some
can't
legal
be that
trading
long.
going on.
If it
All
was
right,
not your
I'm
turn,
going to push the button so that I can showcase this so I don't run out of time
Yeah.
and lose by default. So here we go. So this is, I'm just going to click on this real quick so that we can see this. Okay. So this is how easy it is. You take an existing video and you go into Express and you say edit and you choose caption video. So I have this running very quickly because
How are you making it move without
I love
touching
how.
it, Jeff? That's cool.
By the way, now he gets bonus points for having this video prepped and ready to go, so that we just saw it happen. And
Absolutely. So what I wanted you to, so what we did is took Mia's reflection and I recorded her voice and we added, so it was a separate audio file and I brought that into just a simple voiceover without her as a character. And then we brought in Animate character, you don't have to record right away. You could have pre-recorded or had pre-recorded content that you could add to that character. So she gave us 2 examples of that. And then, so I uploaded the video. It's captioned now, so you notice it starts to say hello here. And then one of my options is to open it inside of the Express editor. And so when I open it inside of the Express editor, like it is right now, I can go in and I can move where the text would go if I wanted to. I could click on this. If I did not catch in Caption Editor some of the errors that I may have made, I can still correct them here. So I can do all of these things very easily with videos. So the ability to caption these things cannot be understated, even if it's monolingual, English to English. However,
I was just about to say, there's a
Wait
huge
for it,
bonus here. I hope he's gonna hit on it.
so we have the example here.
In U.S. history, Project highlights significant
Right.
BIPOC,
You
women,
caption the video now.
LGBTQ plus people from
I'm
history,
pointing out again
like
that
artists.
Yeah.
Jeff didn't.
Activate.
do
Is
it.
this your
Yeah,
bonus? Your bonus
No,
is
no,
that
no,
you
no.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so then the bonus here is that, where is it? This one. Oh, here we go. So the bonus is that you can take that idea here. So this is in English, right?
And people who are not always highlighted.
Yes, that's
think
in
he's gonna-
English.
I think he's gonna get
and
it.
then we can go over here and see that.
Hello, my name is Mia Montero,
That's in English.
and I'm a
Still in
senior
English?
at the Monarch School.
And I click over here.
This is great. He can lose
Hello,
points, right?
my name is
Oh,
Mia Montero.
Good job. Good
So
job.
this is my favorite. In order to do this, he just followed the same process that Donnie followed for translating for PDFs.
Yes,
And was able
but
to
I did it with
translate the captions of
captions
the
in
video.
video.
Now, one thing we don't have time to show right now, and it's one of my favorite little hacks, is those captions are actually just groups of
Just
text boxes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
You can
move
actually
them
have
around.
multiple languages
At
on
the
the
same-
same.
Yeah, and you
screen at
can
the
move
same
them
time.
around. Like, see
Yep.
right down at the bottom
Change
how
the
it's over
size of
there. You
them.
can move it
Yep.
around. It's magic.
Wow, and he got that at the 3rd pick, Donnie. That's okay.
Well, I noticed that's an added bonus.
Who
That was
hurt
an
Wait,
you?
is
added
that
bonus.
that was your 3rd?
That was my
pick?
3rd one.
So that means you picked it
Yeah.
6th overall?
Yeah.
Oof. Huge miss, man.
Yes.
Huge miss.
All right,
Donnie.
so
Why are you throwing
let's go
shade?
back
What
to the
did I do?
beginning.
Who hurt you,
Okay.
Jesse?
Hit my magic button.
He's just mad that the Jets are terrible. All right.
Okay.
I just
Let's
deal with it.
show 4 and 5 because I'll
4
get
and 5 together.
So let's look at 4.
So okay, 4 is from Christy Cloud. It's our classroom's class gallery, and then 5 is learn and educator resources buttons. Okay.
Okay, so what I'm going to
So
do
D
is
got this one.
let's-
D.
Yeah, so I purposefully I want credit for this as well.
pack-
I knew
for
Donnie was going to
packaging
take too
it
much
up.
time, and
Now, did Mia do these other
At,
two
at
too?
some point,
So,
were you like,
okay.
Donnie's definitely going to take this, so I'm going to take it simply to spite him?
100%.
What is going on?
So
I'm
I want to show you the
confused.
class gallery here, but I will
And
give
I'm
Don-
gonna try pushing the button.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No, it's already done.
It's already broken.
This and all credit to Donnie. He gave me this example of the idiom project.
This
look.
is fantastic.
So
Those are
Donnie,
my students
so
on there,
Donnie
aren't
has
they?
Donnie has
He's literally stealing
Two
turned
bonus
on.
points for Donnie for
Don't give
for
me many
it's
points.
his content.
It's just no. So this is essentially inside of Express Classrooms. When you create the assignment, or even after you've created the assignment, it can be edited. If you turn on the class gallery, when the student submits their assignment, then it becomes visible to the other students in the room. I love this for so many reasons. Some educators are afraid, well, I don't want kids commenting. I do. And I think it's worth going through the process of some probably comments that I don't like to teach kids how to comment properly. And Donnie, I honestly, I mean, it's something at the age of kids you're using, I'm sure it's a skill you teach, right? And you're not afraid to have them give comments. 'Cause
No. I mean,
that's
that's the most important
Yeah.
part about assignments like this one, is making sure that I give the students the feedback
Yeah.
they need.
Yeah,
So that way their
100%.
designs. And it's so funny just looking at, again, I haven't looked at this board. We did this assignment back in November, I think. But looking back, the idea was they had to generate an image from an idiom. And they all thought that the speak of the devil and he will appear was just a hilarious idiom. So like all of them had these devil things on it. But it was fun.
But it's really great to get them, especially for a concept like idioms, where they're trying to learn how to visualize something that isn't something that they can find or Google search an image for.
But
right?
like Jeff mentioned, it's not just them using the AI to make the idiom.
not at all.
Part of the assignment was, and this is where like gallery can come in too, like they had to then write a sentence. They had to write what the idiom was, what it actually means, and then down the bottom they had to write a sentence that used the idiom correctly.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the whole, like Jeff was saying, tying it back to content.
So you said that you did the class galleries,
Yeah, so we can do that in class
then-
galleries.
the learn and educate.
Class
Yeah,
gallery
so-
with my
so-
stuff.
and then
Okay.
Yeah.
And now, if you're new to this,
+2.
galleries used to be tied to a specific assignment. Now, inside of Classroom, you can use it as a brainstorming tool. So not just to showcase work at the end of an assignment, you can have kids use it to brainstorm because they can add projects they've created in Express. They can add text. They can add images from outside of Express to brainstorm a concept. Maybe some pre-thinking, some intro activities. So then the last thing was the idea that Dee had said, always make sure that we share the Learn tab. Well, I kind of combine these as three. So inside of Express, you're looking at the education homepage. If I click on the Learn in the bottom left-hand corner here, this pops up, which gives me a couple things here. I love the idea that it has self-paced courses, and this is true for both. There's opportunities for students and for educators to learn here. And if you look at the tabs on top, if I want to focus on video or photography or Gen AI or guided activities, they're all listed here inside of the Learn tab. So these are available for students and teachers.
And this is always being updated. So there's
my
I mean,
gosh.
it changes
Yes.
very frequently
Yes.
where additional content's being added. I would say that if you have things that you want to see, let us know, because our team literally develops based on feedback that you're giving us. So
And then lastly, I couldn't help but push on the educator resource tab, because this thing was just improved probably less than a month ago. I think it debuted at ISTE, where now you can search for resources. So notice you have these same guided activities in the educator tab. This is content specifically for the educator, for lessons for kids, for guided activity ideas. So now I can search by subject. I can go into language arts for upper elementary school. And then I have these visual poems here. Think about this poster that Donnie just did with his idioms. And I have
You just call me an idiot?
Yeah, I did, as a matter of
Okay.
fact. I have it aligned to state standards and to ISTE standards, and I can also see some other
If the
projects
shoe
like
fits
this
an idiom.
built right
Yes,
into this educator resource. So, and notice I can favorite these. I want to see this. I want to do it later. So then I can go back here to my stuff. I can click on my stuff here, and I can see things that I favorited and other things like that. So if I click on favorites here, then I will see some of these things that I have favorited. So I love the ability to use this educator resource tab now to tap into content standards aligned. And then lastly,
wait, that was your fifth.
What do you
I
have, a
also,
sixth pick?
No, I just want to include the templates. If you're new to this,
in that yes.
same idea is that do not forget I can do guided activities or student activities, and I can do it by output, subject, grade level. So don't Don't drop the ball on this one, because it's yet another resource for both teachers and students that is a huge time saver and invaluable to me.
So we're going to recap for the voting
Please do.
audience. I will say, by the way, shout out to Ryan, who's here for the chaotic energy. He wants to know what is happening. Ryan, we have been trying to figure that out for 104 episodes of the Partial Credit Podcast. So we are still soon to be 105, right? So, okay, to recap, we're going to magic button it. Before I give you the voting link, Donnie's picks, editing and translating PDFs, lock and replace, animated exit tickets, AI generative templates, and connecting to Google Drive. So that was that first group.
Yeah.
Then we have Jeff, not the California Teacher of the Year.
No.
His picks.
Or Kentucky.
He did not win in either state. That's correct. Guided activities.
Come on.
Webpage with a specific use of student portfolio. He was not the student that created it, but that's okay. Captioning video and translating it.
Translating it.
The class gallery feature of classrooms. Donnie, stop shaking your head. And finally, learn an educator resource button. So, in order to vote, you could go to bit.ly/Adobe Live Vote. You're simply going to vote for Jeff or Donnie.
Adobe.
And the winner will be announced on the next episode of the Partial Credit Podcast. You can find that at partial.credit. We actually got that web domain.
We did.
Credit. Yeah. So partial.credit, or wherever you can find podcasts. We're on all of the
things.
all of the
Spotify,
podcasts,
Apple
that's correct.
Podcasts.
Jacob wants to know where Stardust is. Stardust.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Do we keep one in studio just for?
No.
Okay.
No.
So that's a miss on our part. Next time we'll make sure Stardust is here in spirit.
Stardust was on almost every slide.
Actually, that's true. Stardust was almost every slide. That's right.
Nobody noticed I was subtly changing Stardust each time. If you go back through my 5 slides, I was having fun.
Oh wait, if we go back, Stardust is on these
Go
slides.
back to mine. Nobody even noticed that I subtly used the insert.
Why is Jeff's the same every time? But
Because Jeff is boring. I wanted to be creative, so I was having fun with Jeff. Here, keep going through. So insert, go back that way.
you actually made tweaks to the eyes and all of the other stuff.
Change the hair.
Wow, this isn't even.
And notice
wait, this is not a thing. Whatever's
thing
happening
now.
there with
Nobody even saw it. Yeah.
next to
just-
Stardust. That's not.
I
That's
think
not
that's
one of our
blasphemous.
characters.
No, I did.
You
I just
do
said,
not add antlers.
I was
to
going to
Stardust.
give you bonus points, but now I'm not.
Stardust
So,
is
I
a
just
unicorn.
I just said make it look like Jeff.
thank you so much for joining us for another edition of Adobe Live, featuring
Vote for
Adobe
Jeff.
Express for Education.
Vote for Jeff. A vote for Jeff is a vote for the people. Just so
Follow
you know.
us at Partial Credit Ed on social or partial.credit wherever you can find your podcasts.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.